Sideline of ball! Lakewood are doing it! They're gonna take it! He's gonna bring down Birdie. Almost with a double kill. Dropping fast. Monopoint's there. He's still alive! Wait, 2 seconds left. He's got 1 side. He's got a second. He's taking it. Oh my God! On 3! They're all dead!
Hello everyone and welcome back. It's the Summit 2 by G2A.com and we're in the first day of the China division and it's already been an exciting start. It was Team Newbie who bested in their last matchup, and we're going to start in game number 2 here. It's going to be Hyper Glory team going against Team DK. Bringing you the English coverage. I myself am Coddle Guy, but right by my side, it's going to be none other than remotely connected Blaze. Blaze, exciting first match. We got 3 more to go. I hope you're looking forward to it.
Yeah, most definitely. This matchup seems to be actually pretty close as far as the two teams, what they're capable of, and we'll see if HGT are able to top out at their full force. We've seen them perform extremely well recently, but at least in their last matchup, DK were able to take a game away. So yeah, it's interesting the back and forth between these teams, and obviously DK is still a very young roster. This isn't the DK of old. This isn't the Ice 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 Lanham, etc. I should probably preface that just to make sure that people aren't confused. DK did drop its Dota 2 squad for a short time frame before picking up some more up and comers. Dreamy U, Hansu, and
5 seconds remaining.
What was it? CTY are the 3 that I know pretty well as far as just coming in from kind of a pub star status and getting to flesh out in this full squad. And obviously DK is an organization that gives a lot of great resources behind the teams to really flesh out their full potential. So we'll see how they perform. Don't be fooled by the fact that there are 2 stand-ins listed here on the right side of your screen. It is the full strength roster of DK here.
Yeah, can you go ahead and just remind me? I got a little bit distracted there. Very sorry, but of who is who again for the 2 stand-ins? I know that it's actually the current roster, but between Feet and Cold Snap, just so there's no additional confusion, what maybe their proper name is again.
Feet is CTY and Cold Snap is Hansu, and by process of elimination, there I would imply that Black.Z, his other alias, would be Leonly. He's been playing with them for a decent bit now.
All right, so there it is, folks. You're gonna have to forgive me if I just kind of roll with the punches and use their current name, as it's going to be hard to try to rack my mind in the heat of the moment. But yes, it is the full current DK roster, and for a lot of us who don't really know how this team is going to be performing, they actually already had a pretty strong start. They made their way already through the Summit 2 qualifier, obviously, and they had a nice strong 3-1 performance, taking down some of the other better known teams like LV Gaming, and Tongfu Speed Gaming, and even I believe taking a game off CDEX. So this is a team that definitely can perform, and we'll see how they match up here against Hyper Glory team, a team that's been around for quite a while. And well, we're in the presence of a legend, Mr. ZSMJ. This guy, he's been around the Dota block for a long time and notoriously known as being one of the best. Signature heroes include like Lifestealer. This guy can farm it up, but a lot of people also feel like that maybe he's fallen off a bit. We'll see how much fire he's going to have in this matchup in their first day in the Summit 2 China. Well, the draft is well underway here, so I guess we should try to play catch-up here, Blaze. It looks like for Team DK, they grab out that first pick, Faceless Void, and they followed it up with a Lich, the Waterman Morphling, and a Slark. So heavy greed already with 3 cores on their side, and Hyper Glory team pick up their Skywrath Mage, the Brewmaster, and a Sand King, and they're looking to get their 4th pick right here.
Yeah, we've got some complementary color palettes, too. We got the purple going into Aqua.
I love
we
my
do have
fashion.
The golden helms and sand and all that good stuff. So
glorious.
Yeah, everybody in sync. We'll see who's gonna break the pattern here. But at least for now, DK's lineup looks pretty strong. Obviously, there's a reliance on the cores getting a lot of farm. But if we have a little bit of a kind of static early game, and even if they fall behind in a couple kills early, if they get a couple of comeback swing major kills coming out, then Void, Morphling, Slark, they're all major forces to be reckoned with. And in the hands of these players, I actually have pretty high expectations. So, of course, we have also the Chain Frost combo with the Chronosphere. The one awkward thing I do see, though, is that Slark isn't going to be able to benefit much from the Chronosphere. Like, it's very unlikely for you to get the fringe of somebody inside the Chronosphere and also outside so that Slark can hit them. And Yeah, I don't see much value in that. But if Slark just kind of plays solo, just plays his
Reserve
own game
time.
and moves about the map, looking for easy kills and maybe the Skywrath Mage, then there still should be a lot of opportunities for him to make his mark on the map.
Yeah, I mean, the greed is very much real. Also with already just a Lich grab, they're going to follow up with, I would imagine, their secondary support. We might not see any sort of early aggression from the side of DK.
Radiant
Maybe just
team
looking to
banned.
plant down in their lanes, try to assert their dominance there, and build up as much CS as possible so they can really shine later in the game. And it looks like they're going to have to consider going toe-to-toe against the Spectre down the road. Now, Spectre did not fare the best last game. Missed the mark as far as quota
10
and building in the
seconds
farm that you
remaining.
reliably need. So we'll see in the hands of Hyperglory team how they can make it
5
work. However,
seconds
for them,
remaining.
they do have some proper, really good early aggression with your Skywrath Mage, and even Sand King, if he does
Reserve
decide to
time.
venture out from his jungle, if he doesn't want to, get a hold of an early blink, he can also add some potent early potential there. So look for them to get aggressive early, and I would imagine looking to round out maybe their off-lane grab. And DK know that. They banned out the Tidehunter, and they'd also
Team
already gotten rid of
DK's
Bat
turn
and
to
Centaur. So their options are becoming a bit limited. There's still a Timbersaw in the pool who is slowly more and more coming into this latest meta, and teams are really beginning to harness that. Also, a Clockwork is still there, but these are both melee heroes who can be very easily caught out from Faceless Void's Chronos. So it's going to be puzzling a bit as far as how Hyperglory team want to set up their off lane.
Yeah. To be fair, though, if we're comparing Spectres from the last game to
10
this game,
seconds
this is a ZSMJ Spectre.
Of
This
course.
is not going to be a 30-minute radiance. This is going to be
5
a
seconds
well-timed, well-oiled machine,
Now,
efficiency
don't
run.
jinx him, Blaze. Don't jinx him.
I certainly
Reserve
hope we're not
time.
going to. If I see a 30-minute radiance on ZSMJ Spectre, I don't even know what happened to Dota 2. But there are things to keep in mind with DK, what they have online right now. The fact that Morphling could replicate the Spectre once he has that Radiance is a pretty big deal in my opinion, because obviously you get the benefit of that first major item. It might imply that Spectre wants to go for some progression prior to that. Not just the Urn of Shadows, but maybe even like a drum phase type build-up before actually pursuing that full Radiance. But yeah, they're looking at their last pick here. They got to flesh out their lineup with a nice support that can be a little more active than the Lich. And the Lion's going to be the hero of choice here. Nice
Radiant
thing about the
team
Lion is
picked
you can, of course, not only get the instant hex on the Brewmaster, which shuts down his evasion and potentially the ability to split, but also, of course, you can use the Mana Drain to burn out those Spectre illusions. So that can be a little helpful in the right situation.
Well, 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 look who it is. We were asking for him last night. It's our pointy-headed friend, the Darkseer. Man, this guy has been in the dark for quite a while in all divisions. I haven't seen him pop up a whole lot. He did have a period of shining brightness, if you will, in the hands of such players like your Universe, where he really had some true potent potential, and this guy can make some huge team fights happen. Yeah, he doesn't really get a whole lot done early on, and he does require a bit of farm and a lot of levels to get to that pinnacle point, but my God, he can really bring the pain later on. He's
Prepare
immediately
for
teeping to the
battle.
top lane, by the way. He needs to immediately get some wards down, it looks like, and doesn't want to risk getting caught out from Team DK, so that was an very interesting early TP from his part. But regardless, we have made it into the game. It's Team DK going against Hyperglory team. It's our second match of the night of 4 best of ones that we're bringing you. It's the Summit 2 by G2A.com. I'll lead off your introductions for Hyperglory team. It's going to be leading out the front here. Kaka, I hope I say these names right for God's sakes. It's going to be him playing the Brewmaster. Pretty High is going to be playing your Sand King. None other than the legend, one of the gods, I guess you could say, of Dota. It's ZSMJ playing your Spectre. Just behind, it's S playing your Skywrath Mage, and that leaves Icy on our pointy-headed Darkseer.
Yep, and looking over at the side of DK, we're going to have,
30
starting
seconds to
towards
battle.
the top lane here, we're going to be having Cold Snap, also known as Hansu, supporting on the Lion, just branches and tangos for him to start. He's going to be supporting the Slark here, who is not just Feet, as alias it may be, but is also CTY, and maybe looking to get a bit of vendetta play against HGT, as he was one of their former members and played alongside Pretty Ha, as well as ZSMJ not too long ago. But looking over at the other lanes, we are going to be
battle
seeing on the
begins.
solo mid Dreamyu going for the solo mid Morphling. A lot of tangos required for this build-up, as he is morphing a lot into the agility. And on the bottom lane, it's going to be the off-lane Void played by Black.Z, also known as Leonly, I believe. And he is going to be kind of pseudo-supported by XBG, who will be sacrificing on the lane on the Lich and making sure the creep equilibrium is nice and easy for him to work with.
And we'll see if he decides to plant himself here. It looks like they could be rolling with this 2-1-2 matchup as opposed to maybe the typical Void just kind of going on his own in the off lane, benefiting from that time leap. He can, venture out from any sort of incoming pressure, but you got to imagine that you are going to be going against a Skywrath Mage on the other side, and his Ancient Seal will have something else to say, and they could very well catch out a Faceless Void easy, follow it up with your Burrow Strike over here on Pretty Ha, and it could make for an easy cleanup and possibly CSMJ to get that last hit and get a start of early farm. So I'm not too surprised they are going to need the extra assistance with that Lich right there. Bit of a hiccup pause, but we're well underway. The Kawa Guy curse is very much not real, people. I've done 7 games without a problem, so please, it's not me. Anyways, going toe-to-toe in the mid lane, it's going to be Brew and Morphling. This is going to be a nice little interesting matchup, and we'll see how it works out in their favor. I don't know, Blaze. I mean, they're a little harassment here in the top lane as Darkseer doing Darkseer things with that Ion Shell, but what do you feel about the matchup as far as Brew going toe-to-toe with the Morphling?
I think it's okay once Dreamweaver gets his bottle, because he's going to be using magic damage to get CS for the most part. He can get 2 or 3 creeps per waveform, and Kakai really can't manipulate that with the Drunken Haste if he went for that type of build-up. But still, Morphling's a short range enough hero for Kakai to have a real stake in this lane, for him to harass Dreamweaver back. And honestly, I think it's about the offensive potential of the Brewmaster that needs to be kept in check, because the way Morphling likes to play this matchup is morphing hard into agility and just using Kangos, using bottle charges to stay alive and have that hard base damage. So if you keep hitting the Morphling, if you keep him at lower and lower thresholds, he's going to have to morph back to strength, and he's going to be a lot more reserved. But for now, he's dominating 6 and 3, and Kaka's not connecting with more than 1 clap. So it's going to be a little bit of time before the Brewmaster really feels confident in this position.
This top lane, Icy is like flipping the script. He is well and far forward. He's not feeling too pressured. He's got that surge now on his level 2, so if it does come his way, he should be able to make a quick escape. Though there is reasonable lockdown here on DK's side. If they catch out a pounce and follow it up with a nice Earth Spike, it could be troublesome. Though he didn't level it up just yet. He started with the Hex for now, so reasonable lockdown there, and he is just going to go to town, leeching away that mana. So that's going to work out not only now in the early laning phase, but could also benefit down the road when you are going against the Spectre with all those illusions. So we'll see that come into play later on. Bottom lane, Lich trying to zone back ZSMJ while the supports are out of the lane, but they're quickly looking to move on in. They've already countered out any sort of wards, and they're looking to place an aggressive one. They would love to get a hold of Black right there, but unfortunately not going to be close enough for any sort of decent follow-up.
Yeah, so in this position, I mean, it's really hard to pin down the Faceless Void. Once they get the silence, that's going to be great, but for now, the Skywrath Mage only just hit level 2, and you usually are going to see the concussive in that situation. Up top, Icy's actually very far behind, but he's been playing like this the whole live-long day, and man, with the level 2 surge, he's able to kind of play this aggressive stance. He will have to go for a Clarity, as you mentioned, that drain coming in from the line is kind of taxing him a little bit here, but in the end, he's still going to get the Soul Ring, and he's still going to have plenty of Ion Shells to spam out. And that's going to require Slark to most likely go for Midas, just to kill off the creeps. But we'll see if that's the route he goes. For now, there's plenty of action to be seen all across the board. A little bit of pressure put on ZSMJ, but still, he's at the top of the CS board, or at least alongside his Brewmaster brethren there. 13 and 5 is his count.
They're making it go now on Icy. He has gambled too much, playing way too aggressive, and finally it's come back to bite him on the ass there, as he lost all his mana, did not have the surge available at that point, and it ultimately got right-clicked down, handing over a nice and easy kill there for Feet. Ooh, that's a bit unfortunate for your Darkseer, who is trying to play a little too aggressive.
Yeah, he's been dancing around that a lot. It kind of was, I feel it was coming to him a little bit, the fact that he was playing that aggressive against a lineup that has enough disabled to lock down a surging hero. I mean, if you get this, Dreamy, you're taking some hits too, but I don't think he's going to go down. The morph allows him to stay up, but you look at his HP pool right now, he's at 750 HP. He does not have nearly the amount of agility you would want at this stage in the Morphling. It's because he's so reserved. And the way stats interact is essentially the more strength you have, the less effective your bottle is. And a lot of people that hear that for the first time won't understand it, but it's just about the way percentage-based HP versus the fact that it is a static regen charge from the bottle kind of come into play. We are going to see the haste down bottle, though, with the Sanging. This should be a kill on the Lich.
Nice double Burrow Strike to just start things off right now in ZSMJ. It might be Clo here, but that's a quick burst down of your Lich. If they can get 2 here, they make it all the better, but the Time Walk is going to allow Black to step out from that one. He's going to get an Arcane Bolt on the way out, but it was a bit of an over push there from Team DK. They saw the supports flirting around the bottom rune area, so they felt pretty comfortable moving on forward on ZSMJ, but with the haste picked up, it made for an easy setup as they rotated on through, and a very nice double burrow strike sets up for the support takedown and gets Hyper Glory Team on the board now, 1-1.
Yeah, it's not often you see a level 1 burrow strike hit 2 people, but Pretty On makes it happen with that max movement speed, and yeah, that is going to be exactly what they need to do to buy time and space for Spectre. Right now, Spectre's level 5, so you can see that the supports haven't been leeching from him too much. They've been pulling, they've been just manipulating the jungle well enough that they can still find level 2, level 3 for themselves, while ZSMJ picks up level 5 and the phase boots. Going for this 3-1-1 build, so he is going to be just doing the most nuke damage possible with the Spectral Dagger, and that creates the most kill opportunities for his team.
Yep, he's got a good start here for Farm as he's matching up toe-to-toe with the Morphling and the Brewmaster. While up and above in the top lane, already had been taken down once, is Icy on the Darkseer. He's got 10 CS, so Darkseer, there's a will, there's a way. And that will is an Iron Shell, so he can always bring in some CS, given that they time out the last hits. That makes things also a bit tricky for your Slark, so he's been doing reasonable harassment towards Slark when he tries to go in for it. Top lane, as the rune is going to pop up, he's right there to protect it out, but he's going to hand it over to Brew. And bottom lane, it's a DD that's going to be handed over to Pretty Haw. The second rune back-to-back for him on that bottom river, so Hyper Glory Team doing a very nice job controlling those runes, and look at this sweet, sweet stack he's going to start working with right now. Looking to propel himself forward to getting hold of an early Blink Dagger, and if he keeps those burrow strikes up, it's going to be pretty nice.
Yeah, honestly, this is how I expected the game to play out for the most part for this early stage, except for how free HGT's jungle has been. I expected at least the pull camp to be blocked off, if not one of the hard camps, but with all of this being unlocked for the side of Hyper Glory Team and only getting an Observer Ward for Vision on the bottom rune, it's just putting them in a position where they can not only give Spectre the free experience she wants, despite the fact they're up against the Sacrifice lane, but also the fact that now Pretty Haw is just going to be able to fuel towards his Blink Dagger in no time at all. He's only 1,000 gold off with his Boots of Speed already up, and I don't think he's going to segue. I think he's going to go straight forward, and he's going to have that at an extremely good time, maybe as early as 10 minutes as a hard support.
Another double stack to work with. This guy's RNG is unreal. No mud golems to look at for this guy as he's going to clear out another sweet stack and get that much closer. And man, at that point, if he wants, they can look to make a jump on this bottom lane. Getting hold of a Lynch should be an easy target, or maybe going all the way up to the top to help out their Darkseer buddy and quickly take down the Lion, maybe even the Slark as well. They can catch him, maybe baiting out the Darkseer to start with. It's apparent that they like to take the bite, so if they could set something up with that early rotation of a Blink Dagger, it could be very beneficial for him, but let's see
Shadow
how it
Dance
works.
again. They get the Shadow Dance pounce onto the Darkseer, but the Hex comes out a little bit too late. The Surge, it's the fastest frog you've ever seen, and yeah, it's a nice little
Dire's
maneuver
top
there, and
tower is under
it's a
attack.
low commitment with this cooldown of Ultimate, but yeah, nevertheless, it's not going to be enough to get them the kill.
Yeah, if you can't get the Hex off quick enough, you might just croak and
Oh,
allow him
gosh.
to surge away. Am I right? Sorry. Got to get one of those out there.
Oh, down bottom.
Yeah, bottom lane, they're adding pressure here, and I'm getting so caught up with myself and my fantastic puns that I missed the back end of that Lich falling right there. But a nice quick cleanup, and it's going to allow Skywrath Mage to get that last hit. ZSMJ bullies back the Faceless Void and goes right back in to his farm. All right, I'll stop with that. Anyways, it puts Hyper Glory Team ahead now. 2-1 at only about 8 minutes and 30 seconds in, so not too hot and heavy as far as kills go, but still a very nice secure start for Hyper Glory Team.
And I mean, although the kills aren't going the way of the Spectre, the fact that the Skywrath is going to be able to be that much more active despite being the number 5 position is going to be a really big deal for him. So already we see things just really popping for HGT. The Blink Dagger's up for the Brewmaster, soon to be up for the Sand King. ZSMJ has had a really good creep score, and the Skywrath is not doing too bad either. Like, if your worst situation is the offlane Darkseer is only level 5, you're pretty happy with yourself at this stage. So we're going to see still under the tower CTY Midasing the most recently Iron Shield creep and finding farm for himself, but he's not going to be that active that early. Treads Midas is not going to put him on the map as far as more than just participating in 1 or 2 skirmishes over the next couple minutes.
And we'll have to see what Black does here on the Faceless Void. As now he reaches level 6, he's got the Chronosphere well and available, but with just him and a Lich, could be a bit tricky if they want to track down CSMJ. They're going to need to do a little bit extra damage, and there you go already. He's throwing out the nuke. Wants to try to bring him down as much as possible. That way they can try to set up. He almost faked it, it looks like. He was tickling with the idea of going for it. But top lane, they're making a jump in right there. You see the Blink Dagger going to work from the Brew. He gets hexed up, but Cold Snap, he's not going to get away from that. And ultimately, he will fall to the hands of Brew. That Ion Shell, it's big, it's bad, and it gets the job done as he will now migrate back towards that mid lane. They get another objective complete, 3-1, and allow their Darkseer to get a little more breathing room to try to get that farm. If he's the one that's kind of lacking on the team, this is what they need for him to get back and online.
Yeah, definitely. That's going to be enabling him quite significantly. It's also a great way to unveil that Blink Dagger. Smoking up with an Ion Shell on your Brewmaster, like, there's no better surprise for a poor little support. We're actually going to see the Shadow Dance popped here by CTY just to get a little bit of extra HP here, and that might cost him if they go in very shortly. There it is, the Blink Ion Shell clap, and he's going to have to pounce off the tree line right into the Spectre.
Oh, ZSMJ, though, right there on the other side. How you doing, buddy? Mind if I just get you one more auto attack? Thanks for the kill, sir. ZSMJ on his Spectre, very happy to grab that. A little more pressure on this top lane. It's already down half-life. And it's looking very, very good for them. They pick up
under the
another.
tower, pops his primal split, is going deep for the kill onto Hansu here. He just blinked all the way across, ate the impale.
He's got
and
nothing
the
he
Hex.
can do.
But can he finish the job?
Yeah, he can. Trying to juke and jive as your line, but ultimately does get caught out. A very cocky Brewmaster, but it pays off. Blinks up and above north of the tower, and he actually has no TP. He is locked in there, and I think Morphling knows that. Dreamy U looking to scout it on out. He should have seen he went up there, but he's thinking he's over here on the left-hand side, pouncing on up. His feet. Oh, he blinks right below him. He gets earned up from his ally, and here comes Morphling coming in, but now he's second-guessing committing, seeing that the other allies are right there. And now they're committing a whole lot for this top lane, trying to get something done. And meanwhile, Hyper Glory team maybe looking for an opening here on the bottom. Pretty Ha, who has Epicenter and Blink, he might be able to get something big happening, but back at that top lane, they're making a move on Icy, or Spike, Mana Drain trying to hold him in place, but Morphling sweeps on in, gets it done back on bottom. There's your Mystic Flare to clean out the Faceless Void. Nice grab. So action top to bottom on this one. DK finally round out another kill, taking down Darkseer, but another great return kill as they take out a better Faceless Void, and they deny the tower.
Yeah, that's huge. Just ZSMJ has had a really good time of things. Every time he rotates, he's finding the kills while still farming away. This is just the opposite side of the spectrum from what we saw from a Spectre from the last game. And obviously, we're seeing great momentum for supports. Pretty Ha now has this Blink Dagger, which is the perfect setup for the Skywrath Mage. You blink Burrow Strike, that guarantees a full Mystic Flare, even with the recent nerf to bring it to 2.2 seconds. And yeah, he's now got the Arcane Boots to support it. So finding this very early on, we see the DK knows something needs to happen. They've got the Chrono, they've got the Finger, they're going down bottom.
They want to kill. They're moving on in. It's going to be a 3v3, but Jumping Chrono is going to start things off for ZSMJ. But here comes your Epi. Jumps on in. They do drop ZSMJ, but look at the clean on up. It's Pretty Ha. Moves in. Lich trying to get off to the right-hand side. Black wants to stop him from going on in. There's your Sandstorm. Arcane Bolt will clean him up, but Pretty Ha also very low. And here comes Slark visiting from the top of the map. Wants to try to get something else, but a nice blink to get him out from that one. Time Walk shoots on up. Clap, slam, one more smack, he goes down. And even with the buyback from ZSMJ to get right back out in the action, they make it a 2-for-2 all day. Another takedown on your Skywrath Mage. And that was a hot mess happening there on the bottom. 2-for-2, but the buyback as well from ZSMJ committed for that one. But they take down the Faceless Void. It's really hard to say, but Morphling wants more. He moves on in. Right-click, succumbing in a heavy. And he cannot quite catch him out. Self-earn, and Brew now diverting attention, but he's got the split. Bare Necessities looking to go to town as they try to clean out Slark, and they will get it. This thing's much more dramatically in favor of Hyper Glory team now. Is look at a very elusive ZSMJ just taunting the Morphling right here, and he just committed down here and can't get anything done. But Brew, unfortunately, not going to be so lucky. And just as I say that, it's Dreamy who cleans it up and makes it a double kill when it's all said and done, and he pushes on forward to a nice 4-0.
Yeah, that was insane for Dreamy. Like, it might have cost DK quite a bit there, as the turnaround was pretty substantial from HGT. There were some nice burrow strikes and such. But at the end of the day, Morphling just got so much out of that. He came in, he cleaned up on the lower HP heroes. The Skywrath only was one form away from death. I think the Sand King was dropped down by him as well. And then obviously he cleaned up the Brewmaster at the end. So just racking up the kills, building up towards his first big item, and it is going to be an ultimate orb. So a lot of ways he can go with that. Linked Sphere seems the most probable, but no matter the case, he's going to get some extra much-needed stuff to play around with.
Action in the jungle, Ancient Seal, Mystic Flare not going to really be on the mark as they don't have the lockdown to hold him in it. And when they see that happen, they decide that they're not going to test their luck, and they pull right back. So almost a potential to grab up that Faceless Void. While Morphling's been doing very well, he's been having a bit of a rough time. He's 0-2-1, though he does manage to throw together his Mask of Madness. Quietly, Icy now still continues to farm up the top. We've already talked about how this Darkseer does need a fair amount of levels in XP, and he's been building it in for himself. He's level 8. He's got 2 levels in Vacuum. Yet to commit any of those points, though, into the Ultimate. Wants to wait till he has everything available, the full foundation work of your Darkseer to set it all up. So he'll just continue to build it on in, and he's going for your traditional mech build, so he'll be able to hold that for his team. And then I imagine he's going to look to contribute and make a big team impact. So you got to remember, though things went pretty nice at the turnaround there on the bottom for DK, they did not have their Darkseer whatsoever. So ultimately it was a 4 versus 5 at the end of it.
Yeah, and that was DK getting the jump with that smoke movement and committing a couple ultis very early. Now we see kind of a similar surprise factor in the fact that there are no Radiant lane wards, and we do have the Mask of Madness and Chronosphere up. But Dreamio's going pretty big in the mid. He's got double damage rune, but 5 seconds away from the waveform, so not finding anything there just yet, but forcing Kaka back, and we see the sneak play from DK. They're looking around, they make sure they're rooting through the tree line, making sure nobody's hiding out there, and now they're looking for the kill in ZSMJ.
Yeah, they're creeping forward, stalking their prey, like a lion on an antelope right here, inching on in, inch by inch. Want to get that prime opportunity to jump on ZSMJ, but meanwhile they're also moving on top. It is going to be picked up, but it's Morphling gets caught out. Clap, slam, Burrow strike, Morphling. They get it done. Nice cleanup right there, Hyper Glory team. But they do go on bottom when they see that happen on ZSMJ. They lock him down. The bounces are real, and they work for Lich as they clean out ZSMJ. Darkseer also had fallen, but return fire from Pretty Haw as he does contribute out. And everything happened top to bottom of this map. Everyone died. Darkseer on the top got caught out and fell. Mid lane, we saw Morphling go down at the top of the rune, and then bottom, it prompted them to jump in on ZSMJ, where they did return in with the Sand King, and then they got a pick off right there. This is action-packed all over the place.
Most definitely. I mean, a Lich is a hero that's not going to be able to run from that kind of situation, but unfortunately Faceless Void into the tower with Mask of Madness active is also pretty susceptible to getting blinked on. So the reinforcements make up for the deaths for ZSMJ, but obviously it's an unrequited kill on the top lane there against the Darkseer. I believe that was just Slark moving in and the Finger of Death to help him out. Icy has to play this just so much more careful than he has been, because not only is it the Midas Slark, but now it's going to be the Shadowblade one. He's going to have the surprise factor on multiple heroes across the board.
Yep, so now Hyper Glory team are going to need to start investing in that detection. They can't allow to get caught off too easily and allow this Slark to really snowball out of control, because that is just something you don't want to have on your hands. So here we go. You already see Pretty Haw holds 1 Sentry Ward on hand, and he does complete out his Arcane, so the mana deficiency is not going to be too much of a problem for him now, as he's already been setting up some fantastic kills and return fire with the Burrow Strike. He's been really putting it together for his team. And now they're controlling out this mid lane. They would love to start taking some more objectives. They got that tier 1 in the top lane earlier, looking to make pressure on the mid lane. But as far as tower structures go, it's still even. DK also getting their own tower on the bottom lane earlier. Things are relatively even up. They're going to add pressure here on the top and maybe go for a trade.
Yep, so Morphling and Slark are farming all the while, so they definitely need to take this objective quick. The Ice Armor will slow it down a little bit, but in the end they will pick it up. But I'm looking forward to the next teamfight to see how these combos work out. We got a lot of wombo combo here with the Vacuum. That's at level 2 right now, but can be obviously ranked up even higher. And then of course you got the big AoE damage from the Brewmaster and from the Sand King. So curious to see how it'll pan out. For now, it's going to be a tier 1 for tier 1 trade, and I think that DK are happier with that because of how well Dreamy's been farming. He's going to have this Linken's or Manta up extremely quickly, and he's going to be able to maneuver in the fights a lot more effectively because of it.
Because of those takedowns, DK take back control of the net worth for the game, getting that 1 advancement structure right there. And they had some very nice pressure on the bottom, adding in some early damage towards that tier 2, which could prove to be a nice investment for the future if they come on top of some of these team fights. And meanwhile, it looks like for the rest of Hyper Glory team, they're rotating towards the bottom, potentially looking to take out this tier 1 down there, and testing the defense abilities here from TK as they have all this potent team fight prowess ready and available. Darkseer is now going to be a part of the action. He's got his mechanism now complete. He invested his first point now into the wall, 2 levels of Vacuum, but 4 into Ion Shell. We'll see if he tries to make the best of it for now. But as I say that, this guy creeps back towards the mid lane. He steps away from his team, so way to make me look bad there, Icy, as he goes back towards the mid lane to find farm there instead.
Well, you definitely want that 3rd point of Vacuum up.
Yeah.
Like, that's really, really important to guarantee at least a couple people on the wall. You need that, and obviously it's going to help out your team a lot. So the wall replica earlier point was just to make sure that in case there was a fight breaking out, that he had his full strength available. But that third point in vacuum is really where it's at. You get that much greater radius from 350 to 450, and you're going to be able to get the big pull in that you need. But we'll see, yeah, full 4-man movement here. Spectre obviously has the Haunt. Looks to be working towards either some casual items to build up towards Heart later, or maybe going for the full Vanguard. We'll see. But no matter what, some nice durability on him, and he's already got that 1 value point in dispersion
Radiant's
as well.
top tower
It's
is
good
under
farm.
attack.
It's not the best farm we've seen on a
Dire's
Spectre,
bottom
but it's
tower
definitely a
is under
promising
attack.
start. And I would imagine these are
Dire's
reliable
structures
items. I
are
don't imagine he's going to
fortified.
look to just quickly
Radiant's
clean up
middle
the
tower
Vanguard
is under
for
attack.
now, but he's holding a bit of the extra life points to just have some survivability in case he does get caught out with a Chronosphere. So we'll see if it's going to be the case. They're still adding extra pressure here. Meanwhile, top lane
Dire's
pressure
bottom
is being
tower
brought in
is
from
under
DK.
attack.
Morphling leading out the front will quickly pull back, though, as they try to get a few extra hits in. They're slowly withering down these towers on top and bottom on these tier 1s. Well, they couldn't even complete out this tier 1 on the bottom lane.
Radiant's
Lich is
middle
making it that
tower
much more
is under
difficult,
attack.
putting in that ice armor for now. And they divert back to the mid lane instead. And ZSMJ will continue to farm up there. And for top lane, Icy makes his return. He's got 1,300 gold. I mean, what do you think, man? After Mechanism, is he going to go for the initiation factor and also grab a Blink Dagger for himself to complement the rest of his team?
I think so. I think at this position, a Force Staff is okay because you are up against a Lich, but most of the time the Chain Frost is only going to be used inside Chronosphere, where the Force Staff is pretty much worthless. So I would have to say the Blink Dagger, just be the initiators, not the initiatees. If you get caught by the Chrono or you get caught by a Pounce, your options to respond to that situation are very limited.
Brew is like stalking some Lich prey here, weighing it out in that side pocket to see if maybe Lich would move on forward. But Lich, he knows better. Good game sense right there, as he's not going to take the bait and move on in. And he does end up saving himself. But meanwhile, top lane, Dreamy gets caught out, locked down, Mystic Flare, man. Not even a Morphling. He's going to be able to slip away from this one as he does fall.
Yeah, once he gets the Lincolns up, you're not going to be as afflicted by either the initial Burrow Strike or the Ancient Seal, and that might give you the opening to get away. But obviously it just wasn't quick enough. Oh, Kaka going to get baited in down bottom, but he will split. So he's not going to go down immediately, but the Chrono will be committed to cage the beasts. The Pandas will be right-click down. Should probably focus the Storm one since it can invis, but he just takes down the damage-dealing one so he can make sure XPG gets out safely.
Oh, a defensive Chrono, not always the best Chrono you want to be pulling out on your Faceless Boy, but man, he is a full-blown twister right here as he eats the second Cyclone now, as the Trippy doesn't want to go on, but meanwhile coming in, Kaka going to get caught out right now as they're jumping on forward, even committing the full Ice Chain right now, and they do manage to take him down, but they lose a casualty in your Lion. Meanwhile, up and above in the top lane, a lingering Slark nearby as they take down the Skywrath Mage. Man, they're really making it tricky for me to try to catch all these kills, as they always happen at the same time.
Exactly, but there was nothing to miss there. Skywrath was literally fish food. He just one right click, cast the Pounce, cast the Dark Pact, he's dead before he even knows what hit him, really.
Dire's
So
middle
the
tower
Shadow Blade
is
really
under
doing
attack.
wonders there, and it just taxes the supports. Right now, we only saw a Sentry Ward out on Pretty Hawk. Now we see no detection on the side of HGT, and essentially that means the only way they know where the Slark is lurking about is with the Haunt. But they do pick up a gem now
there it is.
on the Sand King, and I think this gem is going to be the missing piece of the puzzle. If they can hang on to this for another 10 minutes, they're going to bring themselves back into it, but if they lose it within the next couple of fights, they may be regretting that purchase.
Yeah, it didn't take much. Just one Skywrath takedown. They're like,
Radiant's
that's
middle
it.
tower is
Get a
under
gem,
attack.
kids. We got a gem hold. They don't want that to happen anymore. They're going to probably, bring in the buddy-buddy system, especially with Skywrath Mage. This guy cannot get caught out. He'll be free chicken dinner if the Slark does get a hold of him once again. So imagine him being by the side of Sand King. Maybe for the better if they can try to bait in Slark into a quick takedown. That would be very, very nice for them. But now, rotating back towards the bottom, they have a tower down here that they finished, that they started, that they would love to finish. And we'll see as they commit all the way through on here. ZSMJ, of course, on his Spectre, going to be continuation of farm elsewhere. He's getting closer and closer now to that Sacred Relic, given that he had already committed also to a Vitality booster previously. It's actually reasonable time, though, for this Radiance. In my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it's good. It definitely is going to be doing wonders for them, but I think it really comes more down to their ability usage with their Blink Daggers to decide how the next phase of the game goes. Because ZSMJ, he's going to do what ZSMJ does. He's going to keep farming, but we really need to see these blinks in action. We need to see Darkseer setting things up with the vacuum, finding opportunities. XBG actually walking into no man's land. There's no hope for you here, friends.
I don't think there's a chance for you, my friend. He just was in the wrong neighborhood, and it was just a spring of the trap. And also committed to make something happen, though, is Dreamy. He wants to get a hold of ZSMJ, but the Cavalry's coming in from behind. He'll just quickly pull out the ejection and go right back towards his replicate, which is in the mid
Radiant's
lane.
middle tower is under attack.
So we're going to be seeing the Tier 1 tower drop down by the hands of the
has
Slark, building up a lot of momentum for him. I mean, he's got the Shadow Blade, the 10-second BKB in the hand of Midas, but getting tower kills and hero kills on top, this guy is going to be monstrous very soon. If he goes for the Scotty next in particular, I think that that's going to be the thing that HGT don't have an answer for quite some time. And as well, we're going to see a BKB picked up by the Faceless Void. They realize now that HGT, almost everything they're bringing right now is magic-based.
Yes.
And honestly, although the BKB is an item that does wane as the game goes along, as they're looking to pounce on Kaka, it's an item that they need right now. If they get 2 BKBs up and 2 10-second charges in a fight, there's no way they lose that fight.
You're right. Hyper Glory team has been waiting for quite a while before they want to try to make a team fight happen, but your waiting has opened up the opportunity for most of DK now to build in those BKBs. So how great is your team fight going to be now that they can easily repel it back? And, well, I think DK are feeling pretty confident here. If they have a fight, they would love to bring it their way, and nothing better than going for Roche. And Roche doesn't even really stand a chance either as they quickly bring him down. Nowhere near any sort of contention, though, from HGT. This is getting a bit troublesome for him, and I can't help but feel like it's going to be more and more pressure here on ZSMJ Spectre to try to perform and bring it back, because these BKBs, man, it's going to be real rough. There's no other way to say it. Brew is trying to be the second in charge, and he's going more utility build and trying to complete out his own BKB, but I can't help but feel like for Team DK, man, they're really going to formulate a really nice set of synergy for their team.
Yeah, it's the power of the Tricore, man. Right now, it's extremely strong to have all these good right-clickers and just bringing in a lot of damage individually because they have so much farm behind them. But if there's two heroes that I want to have in a team against some really farmed core heroes, it's going to be a Spectre and a Darkseer. Darkseer turning their own stats against them with the Wild Replica, and Spectre pretty much being a hero that can 1v5 at a certain stage in the game. Like, she can just scale so darn hard if she just is able to farm up a little bit more here. So we'll see a couple camps more. ZSMJ will have that Radiance, and then it does put a little bit of pressure on DK. They don't necessarily have to end the game. I mean, obviously, like, we could see this game go 60, 70 minutes, and they could still find Spectre in a Chronosphere, get a Chain Frost Finger of Death, and still find the kills and opportunities. But when Spectre is looking at a stage where she's 5 or 6 slotted and has buyback, it's still a very shaky ground for even a Tricore to stand on.
Yep, and it could very well get to that point, you know. This might be a long one, kids, so sit tight. We'll have to see, as I imagine that all of these cores on DK might have to have a Spectre on their hands unless they do decide to pull the trigger. And Hyper Glory team have been having this Darkseer on reserve for quite a while before he really wants to jump in and bring the pain with his full impact. And now going on top, though. Oh, wow, nice Earth Spike on 2. I don't even know if that was intentional, but it worked to their benefit. Skywrath Mage gets quickly taken down. ZSMJ pulls out the Haunt, would love to clamp the support, and will be able to get it right there. So it is going to be one support for one support, and a very slippery Slark here, trying to get out. He's got 12 seconds before Shadow Blade's available. He's spotted right there. No trees to hide behind. Burrow Strike not going to catch, unfortunately. And he does pull out the ultimate to slip away from this one. Even Brew looking to get on. He jumps right and above to go away. BKB TP will allow him to make his swift escape while bottom lane. They've been adding the pressure, taking the tower down to half-life. Their glyph is now going to be popped, and well, it looks like Lich is going to pull back. Morphling will stay as long as he wants, and he does have a replicate well on the way out here that was created from Lich. So he'll just stay and get as much damage in on possible before there's real threat, and then pull on back.
Yeah, just playing games with them right now. That's really what they've been doing for these past few bets. The Lion obviously finding the great opportunity there, even if he does go down in turn, unveiling that Blink Dagger very nicely. And yeah, the Slark, he knew that the BKB TP was always an option for him, but he tries to use his other abilities to get out of a tough situation. In the end, he probably should have just TP'd out of the tree line, but maybe he thought there was a chance he would be vacuumed in the TP and would be completely stuck, caught out. So yeah, in the end, he just plays some games and buy some time. Morphling, obviously, doing some work on that bottom tier 2, finishing it off and getting more gold for this team. Every single one of these heroes benefiting substantially from this income, as Lich is about to move them back off.
They started off by sticking the fork in, which is the dagger, but they're actually not going to go for the follow-up. They know the BKB is going to be up and available, and they already saw once how slippery this guy can be. So they need to really formulate some sort of game plan if they want to be able to lock him down and make it happen here, and they're not going to find the opportunity. So they get what they can. They're going to pull on back here. Darkseer's got 1.6k to invest towards his next item pickup. With Blink and Mech already acquired here, it's hard to say. I know one of his luxury items could be the Shivas. It could definitely benefit for them. I don't know, man. Have any benefits? Ags, if he wants to really take advantage of the wall, could be beneficial to them.
Yeah, the Wall of Replica seems promising, honestly, because Morphling and Slurker could be running high stats here. Always going to have a lot of stats available, so the increased scaling on the Aghanim Scepter could be extremely valuable, but I almost think it might be too much to work towards right now. He's sitting on 1700. That's great, but DK are going to just open the floodgates of aggression very, very soon. They can start continue to go for the 1-2-man play if they want to, because as we mentioned, Morphling and Slark aren't great in Chronosphere, so they don't necessarily want a 5v5. But at the moment, they're still going to be looking for plenty of little solo pick-off plays with the recent acquisition of the Eye of Scotty.
Both teams looking to make trades happen here on top and bottom. While Hyper Glory team are trying to break down to tier 2. It's, Team DK that are slowly inching themselves towards the high ground here on the bottom. ZSMJ has committed himself down here, given that he has the ability to haunt in at a moment's notice if needed for one of these tiffs. But there's not going to be the opportunity to get anything caught out on here on the bottom. DK has been really, really exercising some serious patience this game, feeling very confident in the long road. As all their cores continue to farm up that much more, you got your Faceless Void now completed as Maelstrom. There's your shotgun right on cue from your Morphling. And Slark, well, he's got his Scotty now complete. This is going to get rough. It's a lot of pressure here on your Spectre and your Darkseer to try to pull it back in a big team fight. But if they continue this side split pressure, there's not going to be an opportunity to get it going. Yeah, they're on hot pursuit right now, seeing if they can scout maybe one of these lingering supports. But they have the gem. They see him. He pounces forward. He wants to quickly rip down Skywrath. He gets a desperate Mystic Flare off, but that BKB is not going to allow him to get anything done. So he takes down one support. ZSMJ also had fallen there on the bottom. A guy getting caught out from your Faceless Void. Back-to-back action still.
Yeah, just kind of going all across the board. Obviously, the entire intention here for Slark is just to buy space for them to push bottom. He can play games like this. He will be caught by the Wall of Replica after Shadowblade. They really wanted to stay on top of him with that gem, but in the end, they just can't keep pace. Once he's invis, he gets that Shadow Dance buff, and he's actually going to go on pretty hard here. He might
being
get him.
Such a nuisance, and it's working so well. He's pretty much just trying to rotate over to help out mid lane, and he's right there to shut him down. And look at the bashes coming out. As Brew is having a difficult time making his split happen. He eventually gets it off, but he already loses one bear, and he has to retreat. The second bear's about to go down, and there's your full primal split going to nothing. Your wall has already gone to nothing, and they take the tier 2. Team DK, man, they look really, really good in this one. A bit of a really rough early game, as I believe they were down by about 5-1, but they are a cool, calm, and collect squad that are very confident in their ability, and they are just proven to have a set, solid game plan. This Slark, man, space created. Cannot say it enough, as he's just really being elusive and forcing Hyper Glory team to commit so much to get him. And look at him go. He is just constantly in their face. He sees, yes, the Birdman. He gets scouted out, though. Oh, they might get him. Oh, he spoke too soon as he ultimately does go down. They do get the target, a trade that still favors Hyper Glory team, but when you take one of those cores down, there's still 2 more up and alive.
1,400 gold going the way of HGT, though, after that. Even the Skywrath gaining positive gold just by being near that kill, even though he did get picked off by the Morphling immediately after the fact. So, not that bad. The Slark is playing with fire here constantly, and although he has all the slippery escape tools he needs to really play these shenanigan games and create that space, it still comes with great risk. And in that case, the Geometry side finally finding a kill on this Slark, who has just been this huge nuisance for an extended period of time. And it kind of feels like that's part of DK's overall game plan, is go with 3 or 4 man movement on the bottom lane and always have the Slark doing things elsewhere, making sure that ZSMJ isn't farming nicely. Actually going to see the Chronosphere on ZSMJ again, but do they have the damage follow-up?
Oh, Epicenter, he's trying to get as much damage in, but it's not doing anything to a BKB Void, who just is like, well, I got what I wanted, I'm out of here. And well, he doesn't take down the target ZSMJ, commits for it, you know, but ultimately the epicenter will also go down, which is a longer cooldown. And ZSMJ, though he didn't have to expend his own haunt, will live to move on. But I'm imagining that for DK's game plan, and we haven't seen it all game, it's not moving as 5. If Hyperglory team want to have a team fight with their Epi, their Wall, their Replicate, everything Darkseer has to offer, and a Mystic Flare follow-up or what have you, DK are not going to get it. They're not going to give it to him. They'll just keep splitting it out, putting attention elsewhere. So if you even get the upper hand in one of these fights where you're committing 5, like Hyperglory team are now in the top lane, they'll just consider moving on elsewhere and getting something else happening. They jump on in here. They're going to go for Dreamy U. They lock him down in place. The silence is going to eat there. So they do burst down the core Morphling. A nice grab for them as they turn their attention towards the tier 2. But for everyone else in DK, they're like, yeah, whatever. We're just going to keep on farming. We're not really going to be moving up there just yet. Maybe if they decide to move towards the base, we'll try to come together. But for now, it's as if they just don't really mind as far as what Hyperglory team are getting done.
That was a beautiful Force Staff from Pretty Hot, though. The Sand King, when he blinks in, he can't just Burrow Strike. He knows the Link's to block it, so he goes for the Force Staff first, and he gets the Force Staff Burrow Strike before the Morphling has the reaction time to use the Replicant. So, very nice move. He might be a little more on edge now with the trigger finger because he realizes the Force Staff is online, but it's just a really smart and heads-up play from him. Now, as far as his progression there, we are going to be seeing the big deal come out for the Spectre. He's going to have the harder
going in the meantime here. He does get his BKB off first, but still doesn't prevent the right clicks from coming out. But Brew actually lives through it, man. That passive going to town right there as it works through the Chrono. Nice Chain Frost actually catches on the 2 plus the creep right there. It ends up cleaning out, so now hops over down to Pretty Hot, who now can't even blink in. So DK make a swift retreat. No one's going to hit the deck just yet, and Slark now creeps himself on into where the action has just concluded, seeing if he can catch any sort of stragglers here. Haha, I got you, illusion! Oh, that was an illusion. Oh well.
As seems like the first clash this entire game that hasn't just had blood spilling everywhere. Yeah, I mean, there have been so many kills this game. It's not like the most insane chaos mode games like we see sometimes in CAS and NA Dota, but it's still been very fast-paced for Chinese Dota. We do see them moving into the pit now with the Ice Armor to slow down Roach's attacks, the Bash to hinder him. This should be pretty easy pickings as HGT are just not in a position to contest. They're moving to smoke now, maybe, but it's a little bit too late. There's just so much right-click damage coming out from DK.
If you're asking for DK to be all together as 5 so you can bring down a big hammer of a team fight, this was your best chance, and they're just a little late. Aegis is going to go in their favor, but here's your jump and follow-up. They want to burst down Slark, but he gets the BKB off. Retreat fire, your wall going to be dropped right there. Brings out a fair set of illusions, but they have great position to wait on the outside. There's a Chrono, though, catches out CSMJ. Morphling moving over to try to begin right-clicking him out, and they take him down. Nice grab right there. A BKB is available on ZSMJ, as he does not have the haunt, though, to commit coming back into the fight. So DK do come out on top. After taking out that Roche, getting a hold of the Aegis, they take down not only the prize, the SMJ, and a Skywrath Mage. And now they move on back, and they want to get a hold of Brew. Brew, though, managed to take down the Lion, and trying to make his way out after this. I don't think he's going to be so lucky, and he will fall. Shotgun shot right to the face. Oh, man, make it 4.
Yeah, that Geometry Sight is something that in a situation where DK have been playing as only 2 or 3 men at most, you're not going to be able to get the gem from the Brewmaster, who has the Prominent Foot, who has the BKB, but once they finally go for this 5-man fight, whether they wanted it or not, they get that very, very important piece, the Gem of the True Sight, and now HGT again are going to be struggling to keep vision on this Lark, who's going to be picking up the gem for himself. Very smart decision there. So they still have the Aegis intact. They're going to replicate the Morphling from the fountain to the front lines here, and he can play around with full agility because he still has that second life. Oh, there's the E-Blade. Oh, doesn't even need
God. He went so deep, elbows deep for that one to get a hold of Skywrath. Knew that he was not going to stand if he got the shot off, and he quickly goes down, and now they put their attention on the racks. The SMJ comes back from the dead, but really, what can you do at this point? He gets a quick slap from the adaptive strike, and their racks are going to fall. Hyperglory team now backs against the wall as DK strike first inside the base and get it done here. And they're not done yet. They're going right towards the top lane where ZSMJ TP's up, but he has to be careful here because they want to move in and get a hold of this tier 2 tower. And Slark's leading at the front in Shadowblade. Oh, ZSMJ, no! Oh, kicking with the pounce, though, but the Chrono will be right there. Dreamy jumps right into it, though. Pretty Hall also follows up, but he is not going to be able to get anything else done. A free feed, unfortunately, for them, as even though they were caught out in their own Chronosphere, it's not going to matter. The SMJ falls again, still has the buyback, and he is going to have to use it here, or they're going to be losing another set of racks. But there's your blink back right now. Darkseer on the defense. Can't even get his offense off right now. With the wall, he's not going to get anything off. He falls. Dreamy cleans up another. DSMJ buys back, pulls out the Haunt. They do manage to take down the Lich. Their best target, Skywrath, quickly falls from behind though. Slark cleans him up. Brew trying to make it work with the help of that wall as they move on in. But a pounce is going to allow Slark to make a slip escape right there. They don't manage to take down any sort of structure at the follow-up, but they're not done yet. Brew moves in, pulls out the Primal Split, but now he's going to have his arms full. I guess it's a 3-on-3 if you count the Bears, but now Darkseer shows up. Slark very low. Slips away, but same with the Faceless Void as he goes on out. Desperate TP. He's out of there. Last second gets him done. About, what, 70 life. Meanwhile, on the back burner, they do manage to pop the Aegis there of the Morphling, so he'll be coming right back, ready to go, while Brewmaster, with all of his mana now drained, dealing with the Lion, the adaptive strike at the cleanup after the finger will seal the deal. ZSMJ also falls, no buyback. Desperate epicenter, but it's not going to be enough. They already know it's over. They call out the pause after a GG's been done, but that's it, kids. Hyper Glory teams fall, and Team DK, the new squad, looked really, really good in their opening match at the Summit 2 by G2A.com.
Yeah, that was just a really impressive display from DK. They were always spreading the map, they were always finding farm for this Tricore, and they were just playing how they wanted it. They knew the Slark could make things happen by himself without risking himself, and that's really the name of the metagame right now. Spectre, you can invest a lot into him, but as soon as he bought back there, even though it was necessary for him to try to hold his base, he was way too gold deprived. He ends the game with 1,200 gold, nowhere near the Mantis style or the Heart of Tarask. He just could not hold against this amazing Tricore, and it really is obviously CTY and Dreamy U to really bring the bacon, but the fact that the Faceless Void started in the offlane with only the Lich to help him out and still managed 430 GPM is impressive in of itself. So across the board, DK pulling out a great performance today, and 40 minutes in, they take the win.
All right, and that concludes our second match of this evening. We got 2 more to go, folks, so make sure you stick around. Bringing you the English coverage is myself, Coddle Guy. Catch me over on Twitter at Coddle Guy. And joining me is, of course, Blaze. Catch him over on his Twitter at Blaze Casting. Our next matchup to come is going to be Team IG going against Lie Gaming, which is going to be happening at about 13:30 CEST. So we're going to quickly hop out of this one and get ready to go into the next matchup. Please be sure to hang around, as we will be back with more Summit 2 action, China Division by G2A.com.